Topic time.
It's topic time.
All right, so welcome to Topic Time. This is the first group Topic Time we've done like this, so that's pretty cool. And we got the whole cast here, and we got a big topic we're going to be talking about, which is The Walking Dead, issue 193, which is supposedly the end. Out of nowhere, out of the blue, no hype, no nothing. So we're going to talk.
Oh man, that's depressing. I don't know what to think about that right now.
I know.
That's sad.
So what do you think about it, Mike? I mean, you're a resident Walking Dead guy. I know both our Mikes here are big Walking Dead fans, but
yeah. I think when it comes to The Walking Dead, it's obviously the announcement is abrupt, and I can't believe that honestly that this series is ending. Since I've gotten back into comics back in 2008, I've been reading The Walking Dead, and I've been reading that issue every single month religiously. And just to hear now that it's ending, after the book finally is starting to get really, really good again, after Rick's death, and it looks like Carl would be taking over the book, you get this ending. And you're like, what? How can this be? And Robert Kirkman, at the end of the last issue, absolutely says, my story's just getting started. There's lots to tell here, and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what's happening? So I don't know what to expect on this last issue that drops
Everyone
on
dies.
Wednesday.
yeah, just
Yeah, that's it. My theory, personally, guys, is I think that Kirkman's going to take a break and he could pull a saga where it comes back.
That's what I'm thinking also. Take a break.
Right. Or he could totally come out with a new series where it just focuses on Carl and he calls it something else.
the
Is it just called Carl? It's just called Carl.
Carl Grimes.
Carl the Walking Dead.
based off of the Walking Dead comics, Carl Grimes or
Or
something like that.
The Walker, and it could
Maybe they'll just call it Grimes.
Yeah, Grimes, or the Grimes Legacy or something like that would be fine.
But at the same time, like I feel like then you're reaching the height of Walking Dead has already been reached. So if you do relaunch it with Carl, like how many people are going to buy it? It's just like, oh, I read this for so long. Why do you have to restart it?
Series all coming out to that point where people are like, let's just get them over with.
Yeah. So
like the TV shows, people are like, this should end now.
I mean, I know there's the hardcore fans like Mike that, no matter what, but there's a lot of people like those, like us that are kind of like burnt out on it, and it's like both the show and the comic. And it's like, yeah, okay, I don't know if it relaunches, if I would even, I totally get that point too. It's.
We should also put this out there that this is an article that started from a bleeding cool rumor. So just wanted to put this out there for now. We'll find out tomorrow whether or not it is.
Yeah, and Kirkman also did have a tweet though saying like, oh, this is an issue to watch out for.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact quote.
But I'm saying, and in that they also gave a part of a press release to come, like a letter from Kirkman, where he says, he's done with this. He wants to move on before it becomes too stagnant, which I think he should have done a couple of years, a lot of years. I also have an issue with how he says this is like the most growing comic. The book where, like, something to the effect of where the characters grow the most in this book than any other book. I highly disagree with that because I think a lot of his changes, his growth, just happened off scene, like with the whole Rick. Like it just took Rick from one scene and then jumped to the future, and everything happened to Rick. That's not character growth. That's just things happening for someone that we didn't see the growth of it.
Yeah.
So I think it is past time for it to come, but I think it's it's weird that they do it at this stage because you got a couple more issues to like the bicentennial issue. Like I would have just like stuck it out for a couple more months, finished up the story, did a full story, finished up the story that you're telling.
I mean,
and also there was no build up either because at least with Invincible, like we knew when it was going to end.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like do one story arc that will close up the whole series. Give the fans who stuck around from issue 1 to now over what was it, 15 years now?
Yeah.
Since 2003.
That they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the article it said like 15 years or something.
Yeah.
So, like, give them the closure that I think they deserve. The long-time fans like Mike deserves that closure. But another thing is that Kirkman always said it, Mike, that this was always Carl's story. It was never Rick's.
Yeah.
So
now we're into Carl's part of the story more likely, and it just is like, oh, hey, we're just gonna not deal with Carl anymore. So,
right.
it's like, oh, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think the whole thing was about him changing in the world, maybe, and then the ending would be him losing his father and going out into the world as his own man, finally. So that would be a conclusion to the story, in a way.
And this could all be like just marketing too. It could be like, okay, readership is down, so let's do something to get people to buy this issue.
Yeah, but for the last issue though,
even if it is the end, I mean, it's a lot of people are saying that like it's weird to end it on this issue, and I don't think that's anything new for Kirkman. I mean, like Invincible didn't make it to 150, and I think it's part of the whole shock value of the thing. It's like, okay, I'm not going to wait till 200, which is really predictable. Let's just right now. And
but
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go
I was
ahead.
going to say they also did that recently. They did that release where nobody knew that book was coming out. What was it? Die, 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 or whatever.
Yeah, Die, Die, Die. Yeah.
Where and I think it's totally something that he would do. So I mean, it seems like this is legit to me, but we'll see.
Well,
I think it is going to be true.
Let's shift to Chris and Michael, though, Jay, because they haven't had a chance to talk. And then I think last we could talk about Robert Kirkman's career, and then we'll start wrapping up.
Yeah.
So, after, Rick's death was shocking enough when we read that in the last issue. And now knowing that this upcoming issue is going to be the last issue of The Walking Dead, right before 200, and when it was actually...
That's what I'm saying. It's such an odd number to end on, is 193.
Exactly.
I would have waited till 100. So cool. I don't know. Maybe he just gave up, like, literally he got burnt out, and he's like,
I think he was just doing something unexpected. I think that's why he's doing it.
I don't know, but
I have a feeling, Mike, and what you're saying, Brent's true. He's going to pull something out where it's like, oh, just kidding, it's over for like a year, and I'll be back. And then Walking Dead's going to, Carl's going to take over. We're going to do a year. We're going to fast forward time. He's going to be an adult.
But I think the shock value actually is this news piece. It's the publication of saying, we're going to end it without telling you. Because what Walking Dead is popular for doing, why people love this comic, is the shock value. You never knew what was going to happen next. So I kind of like that.
You make a good point. That is true. Yeah. I mean, you never knew who was going to die in the issue. This series always brought, when you look at the good of The Walking Dead, it was one of those really, I thought it was one of those independent comics that was really good at the shock value. I thought it had great character development in it personally. And you never knew what you were going to get when the series was at its prime. Now as the series is ending, it's kind of got stagnant and whatnot. But what it did was it made a zombie story actually really interesting, because it just wasn't about the zombies. It was those characters, and you weren't sure what the characters were going to do in the story. For me, that's what made it a great series.
And also, Walking Dead has always been kind of like, we've always said it's about the characters, not the zombies, and it is very slice of life set in an apocalyptic backdrop. So you never, a life story is not going to end like predictably or on a certain point. It's just going to. I think that's the direction he took with it, was just like, okay, when that story's over, it's over. It doesn't matter where that falls. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it kind of makes sense the way that he writes, the way that he structures story.
For sure. And the last topic we will discuss, because we're going to start wrapping up the show, is what does this mean for Robert Kirkman? Is he kind of done with comics, or is he just leading the television? Is it because the Walking Dead television show isn't doing as well as it used to? I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think Kirkman, he was obviously one of the first people to start this. Kind of takes a Millar route where he uses comics as an IP to get television shows, because, obviously comics, because of The Walking Dead, are very popular as IPs. And if you know anything about television, a lot of producers like it when there is something based on a true story, or, a novel or a comic. That way, it's already established IP. So I think Kirkman will still make comics to have a fruitful television career. I do think he's turning more to television. And I don't think I know comic fans will be like, well, that sucks. You should only be loyal to comics. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because he still loves comics. He's not a creator where he's like, I'm only doing this because of television.
Right.
He started in comics and he's also expanding into a TV career. And I don't think that's wrong.
I mean,
I think if it is opposite, if he didn't care about comics, he's only using it for an IP, that'd be, but he still likes the medium, and they're different, the comics and the TV show.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still an image partner, and he's still got Skybound.
He has his own company.
Yeah, he's still got Skybound, and they're putting out content constantly. So
maybe he just wants to be an editor for now and work on the TV shows.
Yeah, I think that's a good transition for him, and it could also be, hey, I've been doing Walking Dead for 15, 16 years. I want to do something else, something new, some
creative.
Yeah, he's probably just tired of doing the comic writing. I mean, when you look at it, you have great comic writers, but at times, how many phenomenal stories can they put on the table when you sit there and people are like, oh, is he going to create the next Walking Dead? Think about the bar he set for himself. So every single book that he writes, everyone's going to expect, wow, this is going to be the next book.
And frankly, that hasn't happened.
Right.
No, only Invincible came close. Yeah. And obviously that was
I think Invincible is better than Walking Dead.
Yeah, but I agree with that as well.
Too.
I think Invincible is a better story. But also I think, this a big tale, and as a writer, I definitely appreciate this, and I say the same thing. Every good story should have an ending, and it's hard for us comic fans because nothing seems to end, but it does because you have a different creator take on a hero. But when you're an indie company, you're dealing with the same story with one creator. So I do believe
that's what I was going to say.
End.
Some things don't have to end. Like Superman's story never needs to end.
But the creator should be off of it at some point. So that story should end, though. I don't think the character should, but I wouldn't want a creator to be on it for 20 to 30 years.
Right.
I wouldn't mind that as long as it was fresh and they keep refreshing it. Like, if it's one where it's like stagnant and you're like, okay, this person needs to move on, then you move on. But there's been runs where the creator could have went a lot longer, but they didn't. Like, so I don't think there's like a set amount of time, but I do think that Kirkman personally has been calling in his stories for the last 2 years, maybe. Like, I don't feel like he's been at the top of his game the last 2 years in any of his his major books, which was Invincible and The Walking Dead. And both of them, I think, suffered from that. And even the TV show suffered in the last couple of years, too. So I think maybe he needs that. He had that creative burnout where he may need to go and rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I guess time will tell to see what Robert Kirkman has, right?
Yeah, definitely. So
we'll see. And we'll find out tomorrow. And we'll find out tomorrow what happens in the issue.
And for you guys today.
Yeah. Very interesting. So let us know in the comments below what you think after you've read the issue. How do you think it wrapped up? What do you think's going on with Kirkman? Let us know. But that's
should be on sale actually now. Even for us, if we go to Comicsology, we can actually buy it right now. It should be on sale.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Some comics do get released at 12.
Yeah.
And also on the topic of this show, let us know what topics you'd like us to talk about, and if you like this new format for Topic Time, a weekly as a group format.
Yeah, and if you're new to the channel and you want to see more of us Comic Frontline, check out our live show every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, where we have more discussions like this. We talk about our top 5, the weekly news, and all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Topic time. It's topic time.